Alright, hello everybody. As soon as I get some things changed here, we'll be with you. And boom. Okay, here we go. And of course I'm off center. Let's see, I gotta come over this way. There we go. And that hat has got too much green in it. I kind of figured that was going to happen. So we shall get rid of the hat. That's the problem with green. That's the problem with green screen. You have this little technical issue. Well, it's been an interesting week. I had not been on the air because I had issues offline that I had to deal with. Has to do with future project, current events, things that need to be checked out, and so on and so forth. And I simply did not have the time to either make recorded videos like I normally do, or to do any Murtathons. And the reason I'm doing a Murtathon tonight is because of a couple developments. Now, as I said earlier, there was a case that developed fairly recently that required a little bit of attention, and I'm queuing up the information now. And it may not be the case you guys are thinking of. Now, there was a claim made by our friendly neighborhood, or not really friendly, but our neighborhood conspiracy theorist, that a certain individual had her case dismissed. Well, this is not about that case. This is about something entirely different. Now, as some of you may recall, there were a number of these child kidnapping cases that came up. There's the Cynthia Absug case where she was accused of plotting to get involved in a violent recapture of her child, or kidnapping under the law, and that they were going to go out of the country, and that certain people got involved in that. Phil McConnell, our Minnesota conspiracy nut, and his female handler, or whatever the hell she is, conspiracy nut, also from Minnesota, and that they kind of took a sightseeing trip throughout the United States. There was also the case of the woman that took all her kids and were on their way to meet this same group, thought the wiser of it, and turned around and went back home. And then there's the third case, which is the woman from Kentucky who decided to take her children without permission over across the state of Kentucky, got herself arrested, and had her case pending. Now, this particular case, not the one that I'm really going to discuss tonight, but this particular case brought up some questions that I had a hard time figuring out. According to the conspiracy nut, the woman's case got dismissed. Well, somebody forgot to tell the court, because so far there has nothing come up in the court records to indicate that the case has been dismissed. As a matter of fact, the case is still slated on the court calendar for a little over a week from now. I think it was June 12th. I didn't have time to pull up the court docket on it. I have a file somewhere that has the case docket on it. I suppose I could pull it up sometime during the webcast, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Now, we got to rewind a little bit to the case of Cynthia Absug, because it's the Cynthia Absug case that this particular development has something to do with, and not so much Cynthia Absug as a woman by the name of Sarah Louise Mitchell Dunklin. Now, I'm sure one or two of you might remember this lady's name. She is the one that is alleged to have bankrolled the Absug sightseeing tour of most of the United States, or at least had a part in it. And her name came up a while back when the defendant in a divorce action, her husband, took out a emergency court order and got custody of their daughter, mainly because of the rantings of Ms. Dunklin and her association with QAnon, Field McConnell, the Minnesota conspiracy theorist, and Mr. Hallett of E-Claws, amongst other people. And because that was filed in the wrong county, the judge dismissed the action and the child went back to Sarah Dunklin. That is until recently. It turns out that the defendant, or the husband in this case, Michael Dunklin, has filed yet another emergency court order seeking emergency custody of his court order. And bad me for real. Do I allow challenges to my narrative? Yes, I do, as long as the challenges are respectful and not highly inflammatory. I do not profess to be right about anything. I simply bring out my point of view, my opinion. People are entitled to theirs. I don't intend to try and sit here and hammer and try and persuade those that are supportive of the conspiracy theorist. So if you have something you disagree with me about, and you can do it in a respectful manner, knock yourself out. This is not a dictatorship. It's not a democracy either. But as long as you're respectful, I welcome differing opinions. Now, let's get back to the story of Miss Dunklin. Now, what I'm doing is I'm presenting exactly what's in the court records. Here, it's going to be up to the court as to the fate of the custody in this situation, the situation as it involves the divorce, and any future legal prosecution of Ms. Dunklin and the others. But anyway, to go down through here on the first page that I have, I cannot bring this over into the software I have here because it's not working properly. On OBS, I was able to go down through and show the entire documents in a rolling manner. I have not learned how to do that on this particular software yet. I plan on sticking with this software, so I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. I've got a couple ideas in mind, but at the moment, I kind of came on the air tonight instead of tomorrow night. I hadn't planned on coming on tonight, but I figured, what the hell? The time slot available itself, and so here I am. Anyway, so what we have is the usual legalese to start off, and it says, comes now the defendant, Robert Glenn Chatham, by and through his attorney of record in this cause of action, Sarah M. Harkness, and for a second verified emergency motion for ex parte order of custody as follows. The court has jurisdiction over the matter herein. And he went through and showed that on the 28th day of June, when parties entered into a marital settle agreement sharing joint legal custody, minor child, with plaintiff Sarah Elise Dunklin having primary custody of the minor child. The pending before this court is a motion to change custody filed by the defendant, that the history of this case is follows. And it goes on, it says, February 4th, 2020, defendant Robert Chatham caused to be filed in Circuit Court of Dasha County, Arkansas, petition for ex parte order for protection on the behalf of the minor child. The plaintiff, Sarah Dunklin, was represented by attorney Shane Bridgeforth at the hearing, and so on and so forth. And this matter was ultimately dismissed by a special judge on February 11th. That on or about the 10th of February 2020, the defendant filed a verified emergency motion for ex parte order in Kentucky in Arkansas County, cause no, so on and so forth, of the parties' divorce action, wherein a special judge, Honorable Catherine Bell, entered in a ex parte order granting defendant emergency custody. And then on February 18th, another special judge entered an order seeking to set aside the emergency order due to it being in the wrong county. The Arkansas matter was heard before, and it goes on and on and on about how this thing has kept going in and out of court. Where the emergency order was granted, it was taken away, granted again, taken away. And anyway, he's filed, according to this paperwork, he's filed a second one of these orders. And because it says the Arkansas County matter has since been transferred to Joshua County, where the parties now live under Joshua County cause number DR 2020-25-2. And plaintiff's decision for ex parte order of protection has been merged and consolidated into this cause. 5. That an emergency now exists that affects the safety and well-being of the party's minor child and requires this court to enter an ex parte order granting the defendant, Robert Glenn Chatham, emergency custody of the minor child involved herein. The emergency exists as follows. And it goes on, since that filing of this action, the plaintiff has been through 2 attorneys and is currently representing herself and God as a sovereign citizen. Please see attached exhibits and recent filings by the plaintiff. That this whole filing started out as a result of the plaintiff's extreme involvement with the QAnon movement, which is a complex far-right organization full of anti-government conspiracy theorists who have strong beliefs that the Child Protective Services kidnaps children from their parents and abuses the children either by physical abuse or sex trafficking, among other things. The plaintiff is also involved in many spin-offs of the QAnon group, such as the Children Crusade and Able Danger, both of which now no longer exist, by the way. Badme, I don't know if you would call it, I don't know what's going on in the cases. I can only report what's in the court record. It would appear to me that there was meddling done in the Absug case, which is my opinion, by Miss Dunklin, the Children's Crusade Able Changer, and so forth. I mean, they weren't a party to any of these actions, but they got involved anyway. And this is the reason Miss Absug is sitting in a Colorado jail at the moment. And this is also the reason that the husband felt it necessary to seek permanent custody of his child. Now, this is between Miss Absug, or Miss Dunklin, and her ex-husband. That's, this is a typical action that's taken in these cases where everybody fights each other for custody. So it's basically it's a matter of public record. Miss Dunklin is a prominent individual, famous person. So her legal matters, whatever they may be, happens to be a matter of public interest. So that's why I'm discussing this particular situation. Now, we are not, as the general public, going to decide this case. It's going to be decided by the court. Now, what is important about this case is that Miss Dunklin, by associating herself with Able Danger, the Children's Crusade, Chris Hallett, the conspiracy nut from Minnesota and so forth, she has jeopardized her custody of her child because of this. And what the husband's doing here is asking for a ex parte order granting him permanent custody of the child. Now, as evidence of this, the husband gave to the court a number of letters that went to her mother. And this is the portion of this document that I am going to present. And this is the document in question. Now, what's interesting about this, for some weird reason, my YouTube page got in these documents. Merely because I reported the actions as they happened. I didn't make anything up. I didn't fake anything. I presented my opinions, but I presented exactly what happened. Now, in this letter, Ms. Dunklin makes some really strange accusations. Now, as you can see up here, Kim Picasio, Art Harris, Agent 19, FJARDIM, whoever the hell that is, Levi Page, Alexander Goddard, me, of all people, Dale Bennett / Monograph, Glow, -4, who they are accusing of being Kim Picasio, and they are quite wrong. Divine Interloper got mentioned. Mert Eyewitness News got mentioned, although she got my channel wrong. And if you're going to mention my channel, at least get it right. It's Mert Witness 1 Live, not Mert Witness News. Discuss Global, Jasper Burke, and so many more. I personally wouldn't watch any of their videos as they are embedded with some pretty dark things. Well, the problem is the dark things here are the words of Timothy Charles Holmseth and the actions of these people. That's the dark things. Now, farther down in this document, Sarah Dunklin accuses Montagraph of doing a slasher video, for a lack of a better word, involving the use of a minor in the film. And this is blatantly false. The woman in the videos is an adult. The woman has been identified several times as someone that he was associated with in Colorado. She's an adult. She was an adult when the movie was made. She's an adult now. Now, I'm not defending Monograph or the movie. I don't particularly like those kind of movies, but he has the freedom to make them. They're now illegal. He was trying to make a point, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that one. So that is that. Now, let me go over and read my chat, because somebody bad me is... bad me. Everybody has opinions on of individuals, and you're free to have yours. While the social engineering, I feel, is on the part of our conspiracy theorists from Minnesota and this very woman I'm talking about. Bad me? Yes, I remember you quite well. And it's interesting to see your name in here. You and I go back a very long ways, as you may recall. Actually, one of the reasons I got involved with radio was because of you and some of your associates who were being attacked by radio, if you remember. And, you know, this has to do mainly with the Haley, the Casey Anthony case. Yeah, hi Divine. Yeah, sorry I've been away, but I had a lot of things come up locally, off the internet that I had to take care of, and then this situation with the Absud case came up. But getting back to this particular situation here. Why is this not scrolling? Here we go. But the husband put in all these exhibits, and it's mainly all these QAnon theories, she went after me and everybody else in this, which means this is yet another case I've gotten my name put into. I'm putting my name put into so many of these cases I've lost track of them all. You know, and it's only merely for giving my opinion and of the fact that I am targeting a stalker that seems to not mind the fact that he's put a woman's, the mother of 3 children's, life in danger with his rantings. Now, it is my understanding that the emergency order has been granted. I haven't been able to find the paperwork for that yet. That's one of the things I'm researching. But the husband is looking at getting return of emergency custody of the child simply because of her involvement with these groups. And this is a consequence that one risks when getting involved in these extreme groups. And that's what has happened here. And I'm doing a miserable job of queuing this thing up, but that's the way it goes. That is in the court records. This woman that I'm having a brain freeze here. Hold on a minute. But this was a submission that was made to the court. Apparently this woman's been writing to her mother, or somebody's mother, either the husband's mother or her mother, and in these letters our names got mentioned. And it's this Sarah Dunklin Levi that's put all this stuff into a letter and sent to I believe it's the mother of the defendant or the husband, ex-husband. And so he's turned around and used this as evidence against Sarah Dunklin in a petition to seek permanent custody of the child because of her involvement with Field McConnell, Chris Hallett, Abel Danger, and the Children's Crusade, and her efforts when it came to Sarah Dunklin. And that is also in evidence in this particular court. So now we just get to wait to see what the court is going to do about it. Now, another interesting development that came up was this. This is a little piece of work that came up by our friendly neighborhood, or not so friendly neighborhood, conspiracy nut. He put this up on his blog recently. It said if you go to his blog, hit the URL on his blog, and then replace it with Illuminati spelled backwards, something is going to come up. And what comes up is rather interesting. And I got to try and find, let's see, is this it here? No, this is, I thought I had this queued up. Excuse me here. Alright, I thought I put this in here. I guess I didn't. So I'm going to have to go put it in. Let's see. Alright, let me go look for it. I thought I had this image screwed in here. I guess I didn't. So let me see. Yeah, there it is. I didn't put it in, because some of these I had problems with. Okay. And of course this isn't readable. So I gotta fix something here before I bring this over. Okay, now let me yeah, well, this is cute. There's one way to skin a cat. Oop, that's not going to work. Bear with me, folks. I'm just trying to get this. Alright, now let's see how this works. I'm not going to get Producer of the Year award. I can see that now. Okay, let's take this off the board. And we do a cut. And of course it didn't come out. Alright, let me get to this Illuminati thing. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't know how readable this document is, but the conspiracy theorists seem to want to get across to his public that he is somehow responsible for this particular link, where when you go and type Illuminati.com backwards, you get directed to the CIA. The problem is, if anybody knows anything about the internet, they would know that this is one of the oldest tricks in the book. It's called a web page hijack. And where you go in and you type the name of one web page, you are redirected to something entirely different. This is done by scammers trying to sell you things. It's done by scammers trying to fish information out of you. There's all different reasons that these things are done. And what happened was that this guy went out and bought this domain. And he decided, as a joke, that he would redirect Illuminati.com to the CIA government page, which is not that difficult to do. And this is what he wrote. I decided to forward the domain, I don't even know how, Illuminati spelled backwards, .com domain to the NSA as a joke. Kind of a rickroll plus shock site. I registered the website years ago precisely because it does spell Illuminati backwards, but didn't really do anything with it for a long time. When I had the idea to forward the domain to the NSA, I couldn't pass it up, and I couldn't stop laughing. I don't believe that the Illuminati actually exist, and only one black helicopter has ever buzzed my house. That's a whole other story. I'm not sure what the New World Order plan is, but if you have more information, I'll be glad to tell you what I think about it. I am not an employee of the NSA or DARPA, though I have participated in several DARPA contests, including the 2 grand challenges and so on and so forth. Now this letter is dated Sunday, December 20th, 2009. That is 10 years ago. And it took this long for this conspiracy nut to find this link. Now, what kind of investigative reporting is it that he took 10 years to figure out that if you spell Illuminati.com backwards, and if the website is still registered, which it apparently is, you are going to get redirected to the NSA or the CIA or whoever the web owner chooses to redirect the website to. This is the kind of crap that this particular conspiracy theorist engages in. And so that is my thing on that. So, yet another theory created by this idiot has been debunked. Now let me go down through and see what else here is on my well, I don't know if Tim is gullible, but as long as his followers believe that David Straight has direct contact with President Trump, then they're going to go along with it. I mean, you know, these people do not check the facts. It's amazing if you check the comments on these various conspiracy websites, these people just go for this stuff hook, line, and sinker because, you know, he is preaching to the choir. These people believe in this stuff, and they're going to believe anybody that believes their point of view. And so he gets away with this crap. You know, it's totally amazing. Yeah, I've seen that video of him claiming to chat with Melania. It's amazing. These people are just about as stupid as it gets. Yeah, Al Kennedy, thank you, because you're the one that found this for me. I can't take credit for that. It's, you know, I started looking for it, and then Al Kennedy came up with it, so I appreciate her help. Oh, that's slick. Thank you, Divine. Yeah, he's with the high command, all right. Okay, I'm just reading. Hi, OS, or GS Grippler, sorry about that. Well, I got a pretty good turnout tonight. Glad everybody showed up. Yeah, of course they believe him. Look at his numbers. But, you know, it's, the thing of it is this is a team effort on all of our parts to find these documents and, you know, show that Tim and all these other people are absolute frauds. You know, and this is, you know, everybody can do it. I don't have to be, you know, I don't have the resources all the time to do this, and you know, it's like recently I haven't had the time, but you all out there have been working hard, countering all this stuff, putting up the videos. Dodger's been putting up some of the funniest videos I've ever seen. He's doing a great job. But we're all, you know, we're all part of this task force for truth, and the wolf pack is running down the liars and exposing them for what they are. And that's the purpose of all of this. Now, some of the projects I'm doing is going to expand on different subjects, and I may be moving away from time to time. The conspiracy theorists and his fellow idiots. I hope to get better numbers than I did. I did try and live stream the coverage of the launch. I had to do it on Facebook and Twitter because I don't have enough numbers to do it on Facebook yet, or do it on YouTube yet. And, you know, it kind of sort of was a disaster. I mean, I managed to get the material up on Twitter and some of it up on Facebook. Now, the video quality of the space launch, or the rocket launch, was bad, not because of anything other than the mobile connection was terrible in Titusville, and that is because I think there's so many people online that the quality of my internet was extremely degraded. Um, Now, the images that I have on my cameras came out better, and I am going to be putting the videos up of the launches there, but the online stuff was just complete crap. I was a little disappointed with it, but, you know, that is the problem when you're in a heavily congested area like this. They had over 400,000 people on the internet at the same time in the greater uh, Titusville area, and this included the people that were there from the launch plus the people that lived there. So it was an absolute mess. For the 2 days I was down there, and so but it was a test run. It was kind of a thing I threw together real quick to see if I could do it, and the live stream worked to an extent, but um, the quality that came out on Twitter and Facebook weren't anywhere near what I had hoped for. Um, but, in the next few days, I'll put up the videos that I took in the area, and you can see what the cameras caught or didn't catch. I don't know if she would or not, to be honest with you. I'm a bit surprised that she put my name in any letters to her relatives. I mean, I'm small potatoes at the time I did the live streams. I wasn't getting that many people. My subscriber count was extremely low, and so on and so forth. Now it's picking up a little bit. Um, I'm up to around 833 the last I checked. So that's that's progress. I'd be satisfied if I hit the 1,000, because I'm only want to get high enough to do the mobile live stream. I don't profess to want 5,000-6,000 people. I want just enough so that I can mobile live stream, and I'll be happy. If more people decide they want to come online, then that's all the better. And another glass of chocolate milk bites the dust. Yeah, Divine, I'm sorry you're getting the guff. I mean, that's the thing, you get people that, they whine and cry when, groups form to disagree with their point of view, but that's tough. If you don't like us, you don't have to be here, and you can ignore us. The only reason that I mentioned the conspiracy theorist is he's a bald-faced liar, and he's stalking a woman from Fort Lauderdale. And the same goes for Phil McConnell. If these people would simply go and do their conspiracy thing somewhere else, I wouldn't give a crap. You don't see me talking about Preacher Dan all that much, because I simply don't care about his crap. That's not, there may come a time when I do talk about him, because he's going to be involved in a potential legal case, and I cover legal cases that are of the public interest, and Preacher Dan's legal situation may become a matter of the public interest, and so for that reason I may cover it. So that's I'm getting something ready for after I get off the stream here. Souvenir from the Well, the GoFundMe for Captain Phil McConnell has taken something of a bit of a twist from what I understand. Now, one of the organizers has changed the GoFundMe over to the lawyer for Phil McConnell. Now, she may be doing this because she thinks she's going to get out of a little bit of a legal pickle she's got herself in, because of regulations when it comes to these GoFundMe accounts. I don't think it's going to work, but, it's worth a try, I suppose, on her part. So we'll see what happens. It's my opinion that that attorney's going to be very lucky if he sees a dime of that GoFundMe. I just think that I just think it's rather convenient that they waited this long to take up a GoFundMe for a lawyer when they don't even believe in the legal system. He's part of the Admiralty Court, in their opinion, and so they're actually giving money to the enemy. I find that kind of weird. I would like to get up to Alaska someday. My father had a wartime friend from Fairbanks, and I've always wanted to go up all Alaska and look around. But you know, that takes money for that sort of thing, and I suppose if I started preaching about Jawa or something, I could raise $1 million, and then I could go fly seaplanes in Alaska. But that's not my thing. I don't fake religion just for a few dollars. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, where's Chris Hallett and all this? He's in Florida. He does all this loss prevention. He would probably be the ones. They don't hire him. They go and get, uh, you know, 24,900, almost $25,000. Eek. Yeah, it was originally $50,000. Now it's gone to 100,000. And the thing of it is what's going to happen if all the money is not spent? Because the lawyer just can't take $100,000 and use it. He can, he has fees that he's charging. He's gotten a retainer from somebody. I thought the son was paying for these expenses, but the money is there. I mean, this is a simple stalking charge, aggravated stalking, and Phil McConnell's either going to get acquitted or he's going to get prosecuted. If he gets prosecuted, he will be eligible to go to the appellate court and appeal it. And, if they can show adequate grounds for appeal, of course. So there's always, and it's not going to be quite that much. I would think that the defense is going to be around $20,000, if that. But if they want to raise $100,000 from gullible people for whatever, they're welcome to them. They just better have their legal ducks in a row, because when you get up into $100,000, you're going to be gaining the attention of the Internal Revenue Service and the Consumer Product and Safety Administration, because there may be a case of wire fraud here. They're going to have to account for every penny of that money. Where is it going to go? Are they going to cut a check to the lawyer? Are they going to set up an account for the lawyer to draw from? Exactly how are they going to handle the funds? This is what is legally required under the law. There has been no non-profit or not for-profit paperwork filed. There's no bank that's been listed as the trustee for these funds. And there's been no explanation of how they're going to administer the funds once they are raised and they are needed, allegedly, by the attorney. And I don't know if the attorney's even put any input as to whether he's even going to accept these funds. Okay. Well, I can go back a little bit. The reason for the reason the position is here is because of the way the camera works. I try and position myself. I can bring myself to about here, and that takes care of that situation. I have to move the mic closer to me because I'm not using my headphones. I could probably rearrange the keyboard so I could use it. The only problem is back here I can't see the chat. My eyesight sucks. I have to put my glasses on, and then in order to read the chat, I got to get up to the screen to read the chat. And when I do so, Wolfie kind of disappears into the background a little bit. But, I have been working on this problem, and I'm going to continue to work on the problem. It's just that in order to get on the air tonight, I had to use the settings that are in place, because there are some difficulties I'm having with the camera and with the software itself. Who said baby? Well, he's a lawyer, and you know what they say about lawyers. They're all supposed to be sleazy. But I don't know. The lawyers, if he thinks he's going to get $100,000 and he can do it legally, he's going to try his damnedest. Yeah, the riots and looting suck. That's a subject that I really wasn't going to get into because that's outside the topic area. So, what I'm going to have to do is I'll go back and forth, and, I'll, see, I might be able to, I'm trying to focus. I'm going to try a different pair of glasses. I got another pair of glasses. If I could read the text of the chat, I won't have to get so darn close to the screen. I've got one of these drawers. Yeah. And of course it's an empty glass case. And these aren't going to work. I'm going to have to find a pair of glasses that I could use to read the chat without having to go so darn close to the screen. Yeah, I can see it. Well, the thing is, any reputable lawyer is going to put their politics aside. Because, I would be, if he was, going to adhere to his politics of being on the left, he shouldn't have taken the case because Field is on the extreme right. But the way these things are supposed to work is you put your politics aside in order to be an adequate advocate for your client. And from what I've seen of the transcript so far, he's done a pretty bang-up job of advocating for his client. The cost of the defense in the case is going to depend mainly on how complicated it gets. It can either be a cut and dried case where you do normal discovery, normal jury selection, normal hearing, trial, and so forth, and get it out of the way, or it can get turned into a complicated mess. That's what happened to the Casey Anthony case. Because instead of having one lawyer do the whole case, you had a whole bunch of them that were brought in, and it turned into a three-ring circus. And it wound up being a very expensive case. I don't know right now how much Casey Anthony owes in legal fees for everything. Nobody, as far as I know, ever started a GoFundMe for him. They weren't doing that stuff back then. So I don't know, where things fell as far as her case. I'm out of the picture. No, I don't think the fees are going to be $100,000. I don't think they're going to be $50,000. I'm not sure what, and they're doing it specifically to the lawyer. I'm going to have to find out from somebody just exactly, what would happen if, not all the funds are raised for the lawyer. That's one of these things where you just put on the question show. Oh, I'm going to have to see if I can. Let's see if there's something I can do about this. Oh, here we go. Okay, now I've made an adjustment. I might be able to continue reading thing here. We'll see what happens. But I zoomed in the viewer window to see if I can. Yeah, Timmy certainly a dud, but he's, you know, a dud with a lot of followers. And it's, you know, it's what's so funny about this. He's just raking in the dough, or somebody's raking in the dough, because he's, you know, the number of views and subscribers he's got is rather, you know, interesting. But you know, if people want to believe in that nonsense, that's their prerogative, I suppose. Come on, come on, come on. I'm trying to adjust this on the fly here. Because what it's done is I'm getting what I need to get, but it's blocking my... That's what I want. Okay, it looks like I've got this set afterwards. But yeah. Thing of it, you know, he might be able to use that on an appeal. He could say, well, I had a liberal lawyer, and so he didn't do a good job, and so I want a conservative lawyer. See how that works. Reading the baby on the call made me, what is this about? I missed out on this. Yeah, she went through 3 lawyers at least until she decided to represent herself as and God, or had, and I don't know, but she's pulling the sovereign citizen nonsense. Yeah, he's chosen the easy road. He got involved with Q, the movement anyway, because he saw an easy way into a crowd, because the Qs, you know, they believe in stuff that's not even verifiable. They just decide, okay, this is what I'm going to believe in, and here I am. So, you know, it's just one of those things, you know. Well, that's just like anything else, you know. I could, you know, if I decided tomorrow I wanted to be part of QAnon and went around and found some of these big people, my numbers would go through the roof. You know, because there's millions of people that believe in this stuff. It doesn't make them right, but, you know, because this Q stuff doesn't make any sense at all. It's a bunch of puzzles and riddles. And now Tim Homseth seems to think he made a big revelation, because he said, okay, you know, just take the thing and spell it Illuminati, spell it backwards, put it up on the internet, and you'll get the CIA. And it turns out it was a joke about that some dude created 10 years ago. So that, you know, that blew up. You know, and he'll go on and he'll come up with something else. You know, knowing him, he'll probably put up comic books. It's cartoons again. Because that seems to be, when he gets put into a corner, the cartoons come out. You know, as if that, you know, and, you know, sooner or later, people, it may take them a year, 6 months, whatever, where people get wise to the fact that when he's put into a corner, he puts up cartoons. And no substance, just a bunch of cartoons. And cartoons that actually had nothing to do with it. And so all we got so far, is his Illuminati stuff. And his partner in crime, let's see what she's doing. Oop, oop. Oh. Now, you know, everybody's shut down over there. Oh yeah, you can buy, you know, I could go out tomorrow and I could buy 5,000 subscribers for $10. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. But I don't cheat. Can't see the reason for it. Because you wind up getting a bunch of weird people showing up on your on your subscriber base, and you have no trouble, you have problems figuring out who the hell's who. They don't show up to participate in the webcast. I mean, it'd be an easy way to get mobile, but it's stupid. And there's no challenge there. My challenge is to get subscribers on my own merits, and that's what I'm trying to do. And if I don't get the 1,000, I don't get the 1,000. I'm very surprised I've gotten up over 800. It's it's coming up one subscriber at a time. So just in the heck of it, I was going to check and see where my numbers are. But I picked up two. I'm up to 835 now. So that's, you know, it's pretty decent progress. If I can, that's like I said, if I can get up to 1,000 subscribers, I can do mobile live streams. And one of the ways I'm going to do it is I'm going to start doing different subjects. And they're not going to be political subjects. They're not going to be, I don't think they're going to be controversial subjects, but they're going to be things of a personal interest to me and might be of interest to a number of other people. So that's what I'm going to do. So you're going to see something a little bit different. I was going to try and see if I could do something Saturday, but it depends. It depends on what the weather is. This is something that has to do with outdoors, and so I have to have decent weather. And it's been raining and raining and raining all week. And we had a regular downpour today, and El Paso chicken. Oh, that sounds interesting. And so it's like I just said, there's going to be a lot of technology involved with what I talk about. I might be going back over to the cave for more launches in the future. The ordinary stuff like the Starlink launches and so forth that's planned. I didn't go to the one that happened yesterday because I just, I'm not going over to the Cape at 9:30 at night. Because I'd have to stay over there and that gets expensive, and I decided I'm not going to do that this trip. I'm going to wait a little while and then do it. So I'll try another launch, but the problem with the launches is I've got to have a mobile connection to do it. If I don't have the mobile connection, it's not going to be, I'm not going to generate the numbers, unfortunately. And I just, I don't mind 2 or 3 people showing up. It gets pre-recorded and then people can watch it. Like, I think I'm up at 30 views on Twitter right now, and I don't know how many views on Facebook, so a few people are interested in it. But not a lot of people are interested in the launches anymore, at least not in the circles I hang with. So I've got to expand my audience base a little bit, try and pick up different people. And so that's what I'm going to try and do. So some of the stuff that I bring up, you may not be interested in. But I have to do something to try and expand my audience, and so that's what I'm going to do. Oh, my goodness. Alright. So, anyway. Well, what I can do, since I got a lull here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Might help I turn the mic back on. The mission was, they usually plan these months in advance, so they, it's just, a lot of people did watch the launch. There was a 500,000 people, or I think it was 500,000 on one YouTube channel and 2 million on the other. I mean, a lot of people watched it, and it was unbelievable over there. I had a hell of a time finding a place to park. Yeah, I forgot to turn the mic on. Sorry about that. But everything got straightened out, so we're back in business as far as, yeah, the lag time is catching up. Yeah, I sat down, forgot to turn the damn mic on. I do that all the time. So, mute, mute. Oh, God. Yeah, I usually don't know when things hit the fan here until about a half a minute to a minute into the webcast, because I get a lot of lag time. Ugh, well, now I got the hiccups. I get lag time on the feed from the software to YouTube and back to me again. Yeah. Oh, I imagine that he would turn around and just do what Timmy did and just start it under a different name. He just... I know, the last thing I heard, a lot of people are reporting Timmy for fake news over on Facebook. For some of the stuff that he puts up. That suicide with... the suicide thing. That didn't go over too well, and some of the other stuff he puts up there, they're starting to look at him a little closer. Yeah, his days are numbered. Eventually people are going to get tired of his stuff. He'll be back. He'll be down in the bottom feeding part with me. With 800 subscribers. Yeah, well. Yeah, he could pull a Timmy and just start a completely new channel and call himself the High Command Junior or something. The Junior Command. Yeah, let's not mess with Mother Nature. Yeah, he said the cop killed himself. That didn't, that got him a fake news strike right there. Then he blamed it on somebody else. He jumped the gun like he always does, and one of his weird followers or someone that he attaches himself to put up that the guy had committed suicide, and the very same day, the same station reported that he was transferred to another jail because of the virus. So he killed himself right off the bat. And then this thing with this Illuminati, I don't know where he got that from, but that's blowing up in his face because now it's shown that that's a fraud. But it's a 10-year-old joke. That's how long this crap's been around. This Illuminati business and the deep state and all this has been around since 2006, 2007. Now, he said the cop killed himself, the one that put his knee on the neck of Floyd. And it turned out that the cop had been transferred to a different jail because of the coronavirus. And Tim came out and said, oh, he was, somebody put a fake thing up on there. He used a big excuse. Didn't account for the fact that he accepted it without bothering to call the station. It took me exactly 5 minutes to debunk that story, because all I did was call the news desk of the station, and they said, no, we didn't report that. We've been getting calls about that for the last hour. And so the whole thing was idiocy. Timmy could have found out in 5 minutes that that thing was a fake, but he needed the headlines. Good night, Christina. I'm glad you showed up. More than likely, I might call this at 10:30 because I got basically what I needed to get out there. I don't want to drag the show on if it's not any substance to it. This is the one thing I've got to learn to do, is that there's no substance in the show, is to cut it. Because then I'm not wasting everybody's time, because what you wind up with is a 3-hour show with a lot of dead air. The cellmate thing I really didn't get into, other than the fact that Timothy had to mention the guy was black. And so I think he's trying to say, well, I have black friends, and that was a way of doing it. And that is an old insult to the black community to sit there and say, well, I got black friends. So that's not going to go over well. But he said this cellmate defended him for some reason, and I don't know what the hell that was all about. That kind of nonsense, it's not even worth looking into. But he just had to get a black friend in there somehow. And so that's what he did. Yeah, that cop thing kind of came and went rather quickly. Well, at least they had something in common, Levi. Tim has admitted to abusing drugs in the past. Yeah, I kind of took a vacation of sorts because I had things I had to do. So that's why, you guys have seen me on Twitter and Facebook, but that's been the extent of it. I've had a lot going on, and I'm going to have a lot going on tomorrow. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a Murtathon tomorrow night or not. It just depends on how things go with my research. Because there are things I'm looking into that, tomorrow being a weekday, that's the last I can look into anything. The Field McConnell case is dead in the water until the court decides what they're going to do next. Cynthia Absug's, I believe there's something on the calendar for her. The case in Kentucky, that's still on the books. That hasn't gone anywhere. And then this thing with this other case is, kind of going through its ropes. So we got 3 or 4 cases that are on the docket that we should have something break loose here in the next week or so. Now, I believe Absog, well, they should talk about his violent crimes and the years in prison and everything, but well, he's definitely not old enough to be on Social Security, which is my excuse. Plus, somebody my age getting a job right now with my skill set or lack thereof would be kind of hard. So, it's just, I live within my means. It's the best I can do. going to double check one thing here. Oh God. I had a special pair of glasses that I was able to focus in on the screen, and I don't have them. And it disappeared. Alright, let me bring this over here. Oh, she's still doing her thing at Levi, and as a matter of fact, let me... She's complaining about something, I don't know what. Coincidentally, I looked at her account tonight. Let's see. Broken resident, luckily husband, but yeah, not from Earth. 5 hours ago is our latest one. It's talking about coral rid psychiatric for the poisonous tree stun. I have no idea what that's about. Andrew Dunn, Levi, and me tried to set a target up. I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. Apparently there was some poison tree, and as far as I know, she doesn't come in here under her own name, so I wouldn't know if she came in or not. Probably busy cleaning the pizza oven about now. So there's no telling what she's up to. Alright. Just checking more stuff on the internet, see what's up. Okay, okay, absolutely nothing has changed. I was checking McConnell's case, nothing has changed. Everything is still the same. So we're not going anywhere with that case for a while. No, she hasn't been talking about underwear lately. She's talking about whatever this poisonous tree thing is in some psychiatric hospital in Coral Springs. I have no idea what that's about. Now, she said I was involved in it, and I haven't a clue as to what she's talking about. So, but that's like anything else she talks about. You know, we can't figure it out because she goes off on these tangents, and I don't know. I'm surprised she's even starting back up again. I mean, she's, you know, the stupidest thing to be wasting her time about. You know, yeah, she doesn't have a life apparently. Well, there should be social distancing. You know, these people going on these protests and the riots are, you know, making matters worse for themselves. But you know, but we got people here in Florida going to the beaches and they're packed like sardines. Now, when I went over to Cocoa Beach the other day, they were social distancing. They were doing a pretty good job of keeping separated. Except there were people in line wanting to get up on the Cocoa Beach pier that were not practicing social distancing. So, you know, there was that. Well, paranoia in order to shut down the spring fever. Yeah, well, basically what it is people are getting cabin fever. You know, they've been stuck in a house for over a month and they want to get out. And, you know, it's kind of strikes me as funny that the ones that want to get out are the survivalists that, you know, claim to have all these supplies and they could survive a nuclear war and all this stuff, and they can't even survive a week or two in their own home. You know, I find it comical. You know, because 9 times out of 10, I don't go anywhere. I'm in the house all day because I can't afford to go anywhere. You know, if I want to go to the beach or something, it takes me a month and a half to build the money up to go over there. You know, and I basically blew my stimulus check on going over there. A couple of other things that I had to get done. So. Well, it probably will come back, and you know, I don't believe that the coronavirus is a hoax. I believe that it's real, and that the deaths are real, and that people should not be careless with what they're doing. I mean, I know my opinion's going to differ from your guys, but that's just the way I feel about it. Because it is, you know, it is going to come in waves. You know, I am a bit of a history buff, and I do study some science, so that, you know, I checked into this, and, you know, it's likely we're going to have a second wave sometime around November, December, because it is a form of pneumonia, and it's an extremely bad, if you want to compare it to the flu, virus. And the reason they were concentrating so much on it is that it's highly, highly contagious. And it has side effects that are far worse than your standard flu or pneumonia. So, but again, you know, we'll just wait and see. You know, if they're wrong, then it's going to be all the better for all of us. You know, the one thing you can hope for in a situation like this is that they're wrong. You don't want them to be right. You know, oh God, here we go with the conspiracy theorists. All right, I'm just going to sit back and let you guys talk because I'm not going to argue with it. But no, you just. Yeah, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on a lot of this stuff, guys. Yeah, you're correct there, Levi, except for I don't think Dunklin's going to be able to pass this one. The only thing that they did with Tim Holmseth is he was examined to see if he was fit to stand trial. It was not a that's the only extent to which he was examined in the court cases, is to determine if he was fit, competent to stand trial is the specific term. Dunklin, it's to see if she's competent enough to care for her child. Uh, it's going to be interesting to see how that one turns out. That she's got to get her head examined because of people like Bill McConnell. Uh, yeah, except for I think there may be a difference of interpretation on our parts. I don't think what's being done with the coronavirus and the riots are planned uh, by anybody. I think that it's, you know, the viruses happen in cycles. Uh, the riots and the protests are a result of people just getting fed up at the same thing happening over and over again, and with these excessive force issues and the racism and so on and so forth. Um, I may be a little bit broad on my labeling this stuff conspiracies. But again, we're all going to have different opinions about what we consider fact and our interpretations of history and so on and so forth. That's just the way that's people are people. And I'll leave it at that. Well, it's the reason she's being examined is because of her involvement with the QAnons and all these theories that she's put out there. It's the paperwork that came out is quite extensive when it comes to um, all her beliefs. She's got into talking about um, helicopters that can cloak themselves, and that I thought that was interesting. As she said that the invisible helicopters are landing on their front lawn. I mean, that's going to go over well. What the world is all this about? Alright. Yeah. That wasn't mentioned about what her status is with Wilson, so that's unknown. Well, the divorce court won't, but I think the feds will. We people have to remember that there's a federal investigation and other investigations regarding all these different actions that Sarah took and Field and everybody else took when it came to the trafficking of these mothers trying to get them out of the United States. Yeah, we've had some incidents down here in Orlando. We had the Mall of Millennia had some vandalism done to it. I don't know if they succeeded in any looting. They did arrest some guy from out of town. Apparently, he had burglary tools in his car. White guy, naturally. I think the follow the money is probably has to do with the funds that have been doled out to help Absug and these other people sightsee around the country. $5,000 for this, that, and the other thing. And it's a lot of money floating around. I don't believe George Soros had anything to do with that. That's a disagreement we're going to have because I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't think Soros has anything to do with this stuff. Well, I don't know if she did that or not. If she took campaign funds from her father, uh, that gets into a whole huge mess legally because she can't do that. Um, that would get both her and her father into a lot of trouble. Uh, but I think there's money is coming from someplace to back up all this stuff, and so that's what's got to be investigated is where the hell is all this money coming from? I got to get a more comfortable chair. Well, if we all agreed with each other, it'd be incredibly boring. But I try to ignore politics as much as I can. Um, we all have what we believe in, and so on and so forth. So it's best just to recognize our differences, set them aside, and move on to things that we have in common. But I personally don't believe that Soros paid for the riots. I think that's uh, yeah, she might have access to the funds. The thing of it is, if someone decided to do an investigation into the campaign funding, because there's a lot of accountability that has to be in place, that kind of money is going to show up as missing, and they're going to have to satisfy a forensic accountant. Because it's the first thing they look for in campaigns is campaign fund fraud, and it's something that both her and her father could go to jail for a long time, and that would be federal prison, of course. As far as it really doesn't matter, her father lost. May have been because of her and her actions, but he lost. Somebody delivered the $5,000 to her. The thing of it is where did this money come from? Um, a lot of people are saying that Absug had something to do with it, and if she didn't have to do with it, somebody else did. And that's one of the things that needs to be investigated. Is you have tens of thousands of dollars floating around, And, that's, that's money laundering. And so, that, somebody has to account to where those funds came from. Because you get it, if you hit the $10,000 mark, then that brings the federal government in, because any transaction at or over $10,000 has to be reported to the government. So, and that, it's like I said months before. I still think that these investigations are going on. It's, they're just sitting back collecting foundational evidence, and eventually they're going to start whipping out the warrants, and people are going to start going to jail. Because sooner or later they're going to start cracking down on this stuff. So somebody's day of reckoning is coming, and I think it got delayed because of the various problems we're having right now. But and once things start to calm down, then you're going to start seeing these investigations open up. Oh yeah, you're always going to have corruption in every state. It's just the way they get. Well, Divine, that stuff is trackable. I have heard the pallet stories, been different interpretations of it, and I even linked a warning for people to stay away from the bricks. But the thing of it is that stuff can be tracked. It's very difficult to hide that stuff. Somebody's got to deliver it. Somebody's got to have a bill of lading. Someone's got to have uh, an order, so on and so forth. So that a good forensics accountant can track all that stuff. So if there's truth to this stuff, it'll come out someday. But I think there's outsiders that are influencing people on all sides of the political spectrum. It's just not one; it's a whole bunch of them. And that's just people are taking advantage of our social and political differences to pit us against each other, and we're falling for it. Yeah, we just gotta take the time to really study what's going on to kind of get through what is true and what is not true, and not jump the gun on some of these rumors that are going around, because it's just we're feeding into whoever's behind all this stuff. No, I'm not. I'm not a party affiliated either. I have my beliefs, but I just decided that I'm not going to join a political party. You know, I'm not a follower in that respect. Yeah, stuff like whatever Mayor Johnson's doing, that's not good. Yeah, but you're gonna have corruption on both sides of government. It's just, you know, politics is what it is, and I think it's, you know, there needs to be term limits in both the House and the Senate, and well, that would cut down on a lot of stuff. When you get someone that's spending a hot lifetime in the Senate, that's not doing any good. Frankly, I don't understand why anybody would want to be in the Senate. It's, you know. Well, I'm glad you're doing your research, interloper. Sorry about that. Because that's what's needed is research. Good, honest, neutral research. I try to do that, I fail sometimes because of my own biases, but at least I admit that. Because at least people know coming in where I stand on things. You know, I don't profess to be unbiased. That would be dishonest of me to do. Ooh, excuse me, folks. My old age is catching up with me. All right, folks. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down now, because I have been busy all today and all yesterday, and I'm going to be busy tomorrow. And I don't want to fall asleep on you guys, because that's what I'm about ready to do here. I do appreciate everybody showing up. This is a pretty good Murtathon tonight. Well, of course I did. Well, I try to be, because it's better to be an open book than to try and hide yourself, because people are going to find out about you anyway. It's a lesson that I wish Tim Holmesworth would learn, and some of these other people. But they dig their own hole. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close out. I do appreciate everybody showing up. I'll let you know if I decide to come in tomorrow night. I'm probably going to do something Saturday, but we'll see. Again, like and subscribe. Anybody that if you know anybody that would be interested in this channel, send them over. And like I said, I'm going to be doing stuff outside of these idiots. Try to expand a little bit. And no, I'm not going to be debating George Soros or any of these other people. Try to talk through my hiccups. But I'm going to try and do some more conventional things. So we'll see how it goes. And so until the next time, this is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1. Good night and have a good one.